Before I forget to mention, the first horrifying incident I found myself in, I was still working with Trans Am. The last two incidents, I was with XPO Logistics. Hey YouTube, I decided to make a Halloween special where I tell you about my 3 horrifying moments so far in the trucking industry. Now, my top 3 horrifying moments. The 3 things that come to mind. Let me just start with number 3. I just finished coming back. I don't remember what state or the town, but I remember that I just finished delivering a load to the Hy-Vee distribution, and I was at the only truck stop in that small town. Now I finally got a dispatch. I got a new load, and I was on my way to that load when I made the wrong turn. And my GPS didn't tell me I made the wrong turn, so I continued on that road. And while I continued on this road, there were no signs or anything warning me what I was driving into until I was like a couple feet away from it and was able to read the height restriction on that bridge. The height restriction was 13.4, I believe. Either 13.4 or 13.5. Now, when I saw that height restriction, I didn't see my face, but if I did see my face, I think it would look like the Picasso face, the face Picasso drew of the man on the bridge. And I was horrified. I kept on looking back looking back and forth, I kept on looking back at the height restriction, then looking at my GPS, back at the height restriction, because my GPS I had back then was a truck GPS. It was a Rand McNally 310. It was old, but that town looked kind of old. It should have told me that, the bridge, that my truck was just not, small enough for that, to pass through that bridge. And maybe I could have, maybe I actually could have went, have cleared it easily. I thought of passing under that bridge. Just a lot of pictures kind of flashed through my mind, and those pictures that flashed through my mind were the pictures of truck driving accidents that happened when people thought, hey, maybe I could, maybe my truck is close enough to its clearance that I could go under it, and and you just find out moments later that nope, it's not. I'm like, some of these trucks, when I think of those pictures, I'm like, really? You really thought that your truck could go under that clearance rate? Anyway, I'll draw a picture of what I had to do, but I actually had to jackknife into the it was an intersection, so I had to jackknife to the right side. I jackknifed to the right. I went into the next road, straightened up, and continued on that road, and pretty much had to make 3 sharp turns to get back onto the road I was supposed to get out of that town and onwards to my onto the load I had to pick up. But I learned my lesson from that. I decided not to continue using my old GPS when I was not able to update. I finally bought myself a $400 brand new GPS, a Rand McNally 530, and I always thought I would use that rebate they gave me, but something always came up. I got the stamps, but I never got the envelopes, and I'm like, I'll do it the next day, and I'll do it the next day. Yeah, that day never came, and I think for my time of being able to get that rebate is long gone. They know what they're doing when they give you that rebate option. Anyway, when I had my second worst horrifying moment as a truck driver was in South Virginia, and I was avoiding an accident what happened on I-77. And my GPS, I use both my phone GPS, Google Maps, and my Rand McNally 530 whenever I travel, so I know if there's any traffic or what I'm getting into. Anyway, both GPS gave me the same directions until my Google Maps told me that there was an accident up ahead, and they gave me an alternate route to get to save me about 10 minutes. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take the alternate route. I made sure once I made that turn that my GPS, my Rand McNally, also kind of told me that I was in the okay for doing, to continue on to this route. So I continued on to this route that would save me 10-12 minutes. And when I got near to the end, or in the middle of it, my GPS kept on telling me, okay, make a U-turn, make a U-turn. And I'm like, no, I could do this. It doesn't seem that bad. Now, I continued on, and I was driving pretty much up a hill. Like, my Google Maps was, directing me into a hill, a hilly, narrow road. So, I continued driving, maybe like 35, 25 miles per hour. Now, I guess some trucks, well, one truck, my first truck, this road was really narrow. The road I ended up being on is not meant for truck drivers. Now after I told you that this road is not meant for a truck, for even one truck. Imagine one truck going down and another truck going up. Now, if you picture that, and it's a narrow road, imagine that it was a curve. When this truck, you were kind of entering a teeny curve, still going up, and you find that this truck going the opposite way is going way faster. I guess he's a heavy load, but he's going down this hill way faster than me, and I'm still, this is a narrow road, where pretty much, this is the worst possible moment for another truck to, be coming onward as you're going upwards. I'm like, wow, the worst luck ever. Anyway, I decided to swerve to the right, and this truck continued on going by. Just know that I have no regrets though, because if he even tried to swerve, he would have ended up going off the road and ended up falling a couple feet off the road. Like, there's a light little barricade, fender, whatever they're called, little metal things, but it would not have helped the truck if he had swerved to the left. So I swerved to the right, and I ended up getting stuck in a ditch. That truck, you know what annoys me though? The truck didn't even really stop. It didn't stop at all. I mean, I swerved to the right. I didn't damage my truck at all, but if I had not have swerved, both of our mirrors would have collided. That's how narrow that road is. We're both on our own side, but if I had not swerved, our mirrors would have touched, if nothing else. I think much more would have collided if I had not swerved, but our mirrors would have definitely touched, and broken off if I had not swerved. So I swerved. I ended up getting stuck. Not only that, I was blocking just a little bit of a roadway. My back end of my trailer was still on the road, and I couldn't do anything about it. So and it's dangerous because I was stuck in a slight curve where if a car's going too fast, to go up the hill, they could get hurt if another car is going downhill. But luckily that didn't happen. I put on my flashers. Not only that, I had no phone service on the side of a road I was on, and I had Verizon. I'm like, what the hell, Verizon? What happened to this? I mean, aren't you everywhere? But I had to cross this. It took me a while to find any signal. I had to cross the street on the other side of the road and just to call anyone. Oh man, it was horrible. The state troopers or whatever came. They asked for my driver's license. I guess to make sure that I'm legally able to drive. They were kind of complaining. I'm like, why does a truck driver even come on this road? I mean, this road is way too narrow and la-di-da-di-da. And I'm like, geez, why did I take this route? I mean, it was only supposed to save me like, what, 10 minutes? I ended up being stuck on that side of the mountain for about 2 hours altogether, maybe 2 hours and 30 minutes, because we had to wait. I had to wait for a tow truck to come. And then, you know, they did their thing. They had to block both ends of the road to be able to get me out. So I could kind of feel the dirty glances of drivers who are just trying to get on with their day. So the road was probably blocked for about 45 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. And it took the tow truck driver about an hour to get there, more or less. But yeah, he got me out. It ended up being a moot point. I didn't save any minutes. Everybody thought I got in that. Everybody thought that I got in that situation because I was speeding. I mean, I told the troopers that I wasn't speeding. I just swerved to the right to not hit this truck. What was coming down. But I don't think he believed me. I believe he told the tow truck driver that I got stuck in there because I was speeding. But I told the tow truck driver that I got stuck in that area because I had to swerve away from an oncoming truck because that road is just too narrow for 2 trucks, let alone 1 truck. But it was horrible. I didn't get any tickets or anything, thankfully. I didn't have to pay for any of it since I'm a company driver, and that was an embarrassing moment. And then once they got the roads clear, well, before the tow truck driver even arrived, there were cars and trucks still coming down and sometimes up. And I just saw some of these truck drivers just shaking their head. I'm like, I wasn't speeding up, It wasn't like I sped up to the bad and got stuck. No, I already knew what they were thinking as they drove by me. I'm like, whatever, totally embarrassing, but whatever. I learned my lesson from that was, do not deviate from your truck GPS. The number one most horrifying truck experience so far happened in inner city New York. New York, New York. It's a great place to visit when you're not in a truck. Okay, so this is how it goes. I got a load going to inner city New York, and I decided, to think ahead and arrive at night, because there's no traffic at night. I decided to avoid the New York day traffic. I mean, I thought that was pretty smart. I'm thinking to myself, there's no traffic at all at New York at night, because this is not my first time in New York, but this was my first time going to New York at night, and there's a major difference. There's no traffic whatsoever. I'm like, why is there not a lot more truck drivers just arriving into New York City at night? I mean, there's no traffic. So I arrived at, I continued there was no traffic. I went into New York City pretty fast, and I started to notice something. I'm like, these turns are pretty hard, because not only the right side but the left side is full of cars parked. There's cars parked on pretty much all sides of New York City, unless it's near a fire hydrant. So the turns getting closer to my final destination kept on getting a bit rougher and rougher, because the cars, you don't notice them. They're not there during the day because I guess they're out, they're out somewhere else during the day. But anyway, I was like a mile away from my final a mile away from my final destination when the turn I had to make, I just couldn't make it because there was cars on the right and cars on the left. There was no feasible way I could make the turn I had to make to get to my final because it was just, there was no feasible way I would hit something. So I bypassed the road I was supposed to go to and continued onwards to maybe to find another way in. But the thing is, my GPS, was calculating, and I made a turn by myself. And that turn, after I made that turn, my GPS, my Rand McNally 530 told me, okay, truck, truck prohibited or not advised, or something like that. There's a bridge, a clearance restriction or height restriction, whatever it says, if you continue on this route. I'm like, oh crap. I put on my flashes, and you know what I did? I called the police on myself. That's how panicked, how afraid I was. I called the police on myself so they could help me out of this situation. And the dispatch told me, asked, okay, do you know where you are? I'm like, no. And I told him, whatever so-and-so restaurant is near me, I can give you the coordinates for my GPS, but no, I don't know the exact directions, the address to where I was at that moment. But I decided, not to wait for the police and try to find my own way for a little bit, see if I can get out of it. So I just slowly continued going forward, making sure there was, I made really wide turns to avoid the cars on either side, and I found a way to get to my final destination. But then what I found out was it was kind of like a slant. I was able to, I found a way to get to my final destination. It was just straight ahead, but there was a slant exactly like this. And there were, one side, I was able to get into that road because there was a fire hydrant. And New York, you can't park within so many feet within a fire hydrant. So I was able to get onto that road. But as I continued going forward, this car parked right in the slant. And there was a car on the other side of that slant, so there was no way I could go forward. So I was stuck, and there was no way I could go back. So I got this help from a taxi driver who was getting out of his garage, which just so happened to be a garage entrance. A taxi got out of his garage entrance, what just happened to be there. I don't know, it's just these garages in New York seem to pop out of nowhere, but this taxi driver ended up helping me, trying to help me just park alongside that fire hydrant and wait for day to come, and hopefully and wait for some of these cars to leave so I would be able to get to my final delivery spot. And the funny thing is, my final delivery spot was just straight ahead. I just wanted, I didn't mind parking at that fire hydrant because I was just going to park in front of my final anyway. So just being a couple hundred feet away, like half a mile away from my final, was no big deal. But while he was trying to help me maneuver to getting, to being able to park alongside the fire hydrant area without blocking too much of the road, the dispatcher for the New York police called me and said, the police arrived at where you told us you would be, but we found that you're not there. Do you still need help? I'm like, yeah, kind of. And I said, I told him what address I was at, and the dispatcher asked, are you going to be moving anytime soon? I'm like, nope. I'm kind of stuck here whether I like to or not. So the police ended up finding me, arrived about 10 minutes later in their police car, and they stopped traffic from the small traffic that was kind of trying to come onto that road with, blocking their car and putting on the flashes. So I was able to eventually park alongside that fire hydrant. So I was only blocking one side of the road. But I really appreciate the New York citizens and the New York police. They were nice, they were really, it seems like, I guess they get calls from, truck drivers or people complaining about truck drivers, I don't know. But, They weren't annoyed. They helped me out. It didn't seem like I was bothering them. Plus, the people of New York, they're awesome. They're way better than Floridians. I'm just telling you that, seriously. There was no honking. I got help left and right, once I got to the, half a mile away from my, I got help from 3 different people when I was, half a mile away from my final, to get me into my parking space. It was, but then again, it was nighttime. But the people of New York that I've seen so far are really nice, compared to Floridians. So, those are my top 3 horrifying moments as a truck driver so far. I have yet, my back that I know of is clear. I have no accidents on my DAC report, which is pretty awesome. Those are the 3 major incidents I had as a truck driver, and I have to say that I'm lucky that I haven't seen any worse than that. But today's Halloween. I doubt I'm gonna get any free candy. Well, anyway, today's Halloween, and I decided to share my top 3 horrifying moments as a truck driver so far. Hopefully, will stay my top 3 horrifying truck moments in my life, but you never know. But all I know is that when in doubt, stop, put on your flashers, and figure it out. Crazy moments as a truck driver. I mean, I literally always go the extra mile. Not because I want to, but because I miss my turns and I have to backtrack.